Peace, love, light to all the people watching. I'm going to get my disclaimer out the way. My content is for educational purposes only. Can't stress enough for you guys to do your own research. None of us have lived long enough to know all there is to know or learn, and none of us have lived long enough to know all that transpired in the past. What do you do when you realize you've outgrown a thing, a circumstance, a person, a situation? How do you know you've outgrown it? Them, him, her, it. Well, another question is, what do you do when you come to that realization? Have you prepared for when you reach that glass ceiling? You know, what's your next move? I wanted to talk about that because, I'm at that type of crossroad in my life right now. I've realized I've outgrown some shit. You know, um, I've outgrown a certain mindset. You know, um, I've gotten to a point where as though I'm no longer interested in sitting at nobody else's table. Fuck your table. No disrespect intended, but it is what it is. Um, because to sit at sometimes to sit at another person's table, you got to sacrifice parts of yourself. Question is, are you willing to make that sacrifice? Is it worth making that sacrifice just to sit at somebody else's motherfucking table? You know, are you not a master builder? Can you not build and create your own table? You know, that's a question. I've already asked and answered for myself. You it's a lot that goes into that though. And I'm just talking to y'all, man. I find it easier to talk this way. You know, because it's funny, right? But not for nothing. But a lot of it's not easy as one would think to carry on. Certain conversations with individuals nowadays because individuals nowadays are, they're preoccupied with what they're into, and if what you into and what they're into aren't aligned, then you know, again, you gotta rely on self. You gotta have those. Sometimes you gotta have these conversations with your goddamn self. Hold counsel with yourself. You know, you you live in your skin 24/7. You know. Yeah. Some people I find they're scared of the solitude. They scared of their own company. Some people scared of their own goddamn shadow. Just got to have, a bunch of individuals around, and I ain't knocking that. I didn't always, think like I think today. I didn't always move like I move today, and I didn't always have the mindset that I have today. So I'm never gonna look down on another person, you know, um, you know, in the aspect that okay, I'm this, I'm that, or I done got here and I done got there, and what's wrong with you? Why you ain't? Nah, it ain't. this ain't that and that ain't this. What I'm basically saying is that, some people just alright with what they doing. They alright with what they've, you know, created for themselves, and they don't desire more. They alright with what's going on, and that's perfectly fine. I just happen to want more. I feel like Hove felt, shout out to Hove. If this is the kind of life, if this is all that I, if this is what I got to look forward to, you know, then I'm going to take a chance for more. Because otherwise, what kind of life am I saving? You know, what kind of fears am I, prioritizing that stops me from seeking what I truly desire in this life? You know, people don't always have to say things, but sometimes you can damn near tell. You can see in the actions and how they do things. Some people just ain't happy with their life, man. And they medicate themselves with the accoutrements. I mean, I can only say this because I've been there. You want to have this, material item or that material item, to substantiate and fill the gap that's within yourself because you're unsatisfied. Problem with material items and superficial shit is that they're not fulfilling. You know, they get old just like anything else do. Well, damn near anything else do. And to make it even more, to bring it further home than that, these things are external to you. You can never attain inner peace and happiness focusing on things external to you. You gotta turn that shit inward. You know. So all that basically said to say this. When a person musters up the courage or the fortitude to take that inner journey and visit the shadow side within yourself, the dark side, whatever you want to call it, refer to it as, and deal with all the unresolved conflicts and emotions and that you've set aside, unresolved. They end up plaguing you in one way, shape, form, fashion, or another. So all what I've learned is, to deal with the things that are hard to deal with, within self, because those are going to be the hardest things that you tackle in your life, and that also relates to, making decisions without seeing a safety net there, you know, living in the unknown, you know, uh, moving forward without even seeing, you know, whether or knowing whether there's going to be light at the end of that tunnel. You have that type of faith in yourself that you move forward with the decision that you make to step into the unknown in search of something more, something better, something more fulfilling. It's like back to what I was saying about being preoccupied with sitting at somebody else's table. You know, it's life is based on decisions, man. And a lot of times, man, I can like I'm gonna keep the focus on me. It's times in my past where I've made decisions not to move on something based on being comfortable where I was at or what I was doing with the knowledge of what to expect. And the reason for this video is, man, as the days go on, I'm growing more uncomfortable with the safety net of knowing what it's going to be. Knowing what to expect. Because I find that I'm not advancing, in that comfortability. So, to, develop the type of courage that it takes to move into the unknown. To believe in something before it's actually there. Back to Hove again. He made a statement one time. You got to believe you're great before anybody else does or anybody recognizes it. And even if others do recognize it, you have to have the strongest belief in that, in yourself, in order to propel yourself forward. Because otherwise, man, and again, I can only speak for myself. In the past, I've stayed stuck and stagnated based upon choice. I don't want to be uncomfortable, man. I done made shit comfortable for myself. I want to stay in that comfortability level or that state of comfortableness. It stagnates you though, especially if you have a desire for more. It's like I worked hard already. Now I done got this, or I done made it to this situation, or created this situation, or made it to this level. And then I gotta take it. I gotta take it to some of the things that Dame Dash say. Some of the things that Dame Dash do. That nigga don't just talk. You feel me? He makes shit move and shake too. And it's a lot of the shit that he say makes sense. And I only bring these individuals up because these, the things that these individuals I've observed, them say in certain interviews, I find myself at those crossroads right now. I feel like, for real, with the knowledge and the confidence that I can do this or that, I feel the stagnation. I feel the, certain things I've said, in these videos that I post. How you gonna be, how can I call, or make statements about others, embodying cowardice, as it relates to, having the heart to make this step or make that move, that's not going to benefit the corporation or the organization. It's going to benefit you and your progeny. Ain't no safety net. You got to make it all shake. Because if you don't make it shake, it ain't going to happen. I can relate that to being on the run, in the past. You know, if it wasn't for me making shit happen, putting the legwork in, having the heart to step out there and do whatever it had to be done around a bunch of strangers, you know, then nothing was gonna happen. And I say it to other, I've said it to a bunch of people. You know what I mean? If you know me on a personal level, then 9 times out of 10, especially in my career field, I've said it to a numerous folk. You know what I mean? Like, you got to put the legwork in, man. It's just like anything you've done in the past. You didn't just go out on the block and start making 3,500, $5,000 a day. Or more. You had to work up to that. You had to put the groundwork in to materialize that. And that's a hostile environment. So if you could make those leaps and bounds in a hostile environment, how can you not have the confidence or the wherewithal or, the courage to do it in a non-hostile environment? These are just things that, I've been thinking about amongst myself, man. And other people may not agree, for those that know what I'm referring to. But at the end of the day, man, you gotta be out. You gotta to thyself be true. And one thing about me is, man, once I make my mind up, man, I'm pretty much undeterrable at that point. It's no sense in wasting your breath or your energy, because once my mind's made up, it's made up, man, and I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move on it. It ain't gonna be no more rapping. It ain't gonna be no more conversation about it. Another thing is, it ain't much I've said that I haven't done. It's usually a pattern with me. I'll talk about some stuff. After bouncing it around in my own mind in the pre-contemplative stages, then I, start verbalizing it. It's a form of manifestation. It's a method of manifestation, should I say. And shortly thereafter, man, I commit to the decision. All the talking stops. And I dive head first into the endeavor. And I stay 10 toes down until it's done. And I feel myself about to do the same thing again. So up to this point in this video, it's all been about, for those that find themselves in a situation, in a circumstance, in a job, in a relationship, or in a group of people, maybe friends or whatever, when you realize and recognize that you've outgrown it, that you've outgrown them, or that you've outgrown him or her, or the situation in and of itself, are you going to have the heart, the courage, the strength to move into the next phase, regardless of whether there's any support, regardless of the naysayers, regardless of the slick talkers, all that. It just comes a time, man, where you got to go for yours. Many people I've known and know, we've done this shit illegally for these Federal Reserve notes. You know what I'm talking about? Where, the life we live now, some of us, You know, the shit we do for the money is basically nothing in comparison to the shit we was doing for the money prior to living a legal life. Yet we did it with no hesitation. You know, difference is we older now. We more hopefully we more wiser. We have better decision making skills. And we have a better planning method, you know. More methodical about things we do and the way we, you know, approach things. But, you know, one of my favorite sayings, and it still resonates with me to this day, sometimes you just gotta say fuck it and go ahead and go for yours. Cause ain't nobody can give you shit. But a hard way to go. A hard way to go. You know what I mean? Just to sit at a motherfucker's table that 9 times out of 10 ain't better than the one you can create for your goddamn self. Can you see that though? Because if you can't see it here, ain't no motherfucking way that you can materialize it if you can't see it. And I ain't talking about with these 2 eyes. I'm talking about your first eye. You know? So, you know, it's like, you know, I've changed my life quite a few times since I've been here. You know? And I'm feeling the need to do it again. You know? You know, it's because, you know, it's like, you know, and again, I got to bring up the universal law of detachment, man. You know, some things, man, you just know, you know, based off observation, that inner knowing, you know, again, just observing things from a different set of lenses, you know, not just looking at it and not really, you know, seeing what's in front of you. You know, if your mind is blind, your eyes damn sure can't see. You know, and you know, I don't know who's gonna resonate with this, but at the end of the day, I know people are gonna resonate with it. You know, get tired of doing the same old thing, putting in a lot of work, you know, with no reward. You know, having to appease other people to get the recognition that you're due based on the work you've put in. You know, and that's what's always made it easy for me to detach and turn that effort inward. You know, which is basically what I'm about to do again. I'd rather try and fail than to allow fear to stop me from trying at all. And turning into to some of the individuals that I observe, you know, whether they'll admit it or not, they're not happy with what they're doing. They would much rather be doing something else. You know, but whatever it is that stops them, stops them. You know, and I've been a victim of that myself. I've been a victim of that. It's been years ago. I came to the realization that what I'm doing, I have an inner knowing and a deep sense of a feeling that it's not what I'm here to do. Plus, if you understand how the universe works on any level, you know, certain things will not pan out for you. It's just like when I was in the street, it wasn't for me. I kept trying and trying and trying and kept landing in jail. you know, one stint after another, one stint after another. Couldn't stay home for about a 16-year period. I couldn't stay the fuck home. You know, in a 16-year period, I might have been home close to 3 years. But the level of determination, dedication, self-application, and inner will that I embody wouldn't allow me to quit until I looked at things from a different perspective. You know, and the amount of time that I ended up doing, I'm approaching that with what I've been doing. You know, and I feel the same way about it. You know, try, keep hitting the brick wall, keep hitting the brick wall. You know, and I'm forced to entertain the thought that maybe it's the universe trying to tell me something. Same way y'all, anybody that watches the videos, same way I've said, or laid out scenarios or analogies where I've referred to, an individual in said analogy as a coward. And that's something I ain't never been. So with that being said, man, don't allow fear. See, fear is something. Something that you learn. It's not something that you're born with. You're not born with fear. You don't even know what the fuck fear is when you're born. It's something that you're taught. It's something that society pushes. They spend millions on just fear alone, trying to keep you scared of this, scared of that. Because the average individual don't understand what being in the state of fear does to your physiology. Yeah, So once I became aware of these things, I went, I went the opposite way. It may not happen overnight, but at the end of the day, I find it within myself to go and go toward the fear. And 9 times out of 10, it's been the fear of change. What's on the other side of that door? What's on the other side of that decision? But on the other side of that coin, when you burn the bridge behind you so you can't go back, you force yourself to make it happen because it's all on your shoulders at that point. Traveling the road, walking the road less traveled. Everybody's doing pretty much the same thing in different variances. Everybody's doing, well, not everybody, but a majority of people are still doing this job thing. When if you put as much, energy, attention, and focus on yourself and the things that you're capable of doing, as opposed to exerting that energy, time, and attention to somebody else's legacy, i.e., working at a job, and you may be unappreciated. What you bring to the table is sometimes never enough. Even if they know that to be the opposite, and they just, it just is what it is. But at the end of the day, What I find is you have to be able to step back and look at yourself from a different perspective in the circumstances and situation that you find yourself in as it relates to whatever it is that you're struggling with, and find a way to overcome it. You know, and the shit's not always easy. You know, but the fact that you got to look yourself in the mirror every day and be satisfied with what you see in that mirror. You know, again, to thyself be true. And pretty much with that, man. I know I've been rambling pretty much this whole video, man, but I feel it's relevant, man. It's definitely relevant, man, because we all struggle with things, you know, and I just don't. I don't. I'd rather struggle towards something than struggle in stagnancy. And then a comfort level where as though I understand clearly what's going to happen from day in to day out. I feel like on a few levels I've guaranteed my own mediocrity. By failing to move. When initially I felt the need to move. And it's the reason why this video is dragged on. It's at 32 minutes and 15 seconds right now. It's like when life changes, man, sometimes it's not easy to make the changes that you have to make. You have sentimental value to certain people in certain situations, even certain places. But there must, there comes a time in some of our lives where we must move on. And making that move isn't always an easy thing to do. I've been struggling with this for a minute now, But I'm about to end that struggle. Because if I look, I can just look back on my life and the things that I've overcome. The shit that I've made it through, lived through, conquered. On one level or another, I could look back on those things and say, nigga, this ain't shit. You should be able to walk through this. But again, we all this human experience, man. It's about learning yourself, conquering your demons, and losing and shedding the fear. That you were taught and that was projected on you. And that the government perpetrates every way they can. But at the end of the day, man, I think some of them going through some shit. The actual government, because I'm pretty sure if they had it their way, depopulation would have been took place. I know not to say that they ain't still trying and succeeding in certain respects. But at the end of the day, man, later for all that, just to sum this whole video up, man, never neglect, who you are at the core. Some say that, the body that you inhabit is a reflection of the soul within and how you see yourself on whatever level, on all levels, you know. So, with that being stated, man, I'm gonna cut this video short. I enjoy my solitude. I stay in solitude a lot, man, because you're easily influenced by those you spend the most time around. So I spend a lot of time by my goddamn self. I don't really want no outer influences, because what's good for somebody else don't mean that it's good for me. You know, all of us gotta walk our own course, like I said, navigate our own chart. You know, and yeah, man. Based on that, man, I'm gonna cut it short, man. I got some contemplating to do. You know, um, some strategizing to do, and some further planning to do. I think fear is the least of my problems. Actually, I know fear is the least of my problems. You know, but y'all be easy, man. I just hope that throughout all this rambling, somebody understood and caught the message in all of this rambling. Because it's all basically dealing with stepping into what's unknown, stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, and really not having any type of an attachment to the outcome. Just you had that inner knowing, that deep rooted feeling that it's time to move. So I appreciate y'all letting me talk to you. Those that stuck with the video this far, much appreciated, man. And I'll see y'all on the next one.